Crime, stealing a car. If a white T kid get caught stealing a car, they get smacked on the wrist with joyriding, maybe had a pum with them, and they got thrown out and got disappeared through some fines and probation because they didn't want to mess that child's future and college life up. Like, we're witnessing this here, hands on. So
supporters, this is Island Gal from town and in Ohio, my people. Right now, a man has been locked up for taking out a police officer. But what really happened before? Now, my people, it said that his son and his friends went on a joyride, either that or then thief somebody car. Well, anyway, my people, the police pulled them over, them decide to jump out and run go about them business. While they're going about their business, one of the police pull a pew and pew one of the boy them. It is now said that the boy never have nothing in him and him never have no tool, him did defenseless. Him never did be no harm to them, and therefore what his father did, my people, him father jump in one vehicle, my love, and boy, may I tell you, one police gone. Now, supporters, do you believe that it is justified? Do you believe
that we have here in Cincinnati? Do y'all recall just two of them off of a bridge?
Now, my supporters, let me know how you feel. Do you believe that the father is in his right to take matters into his own hands, especially if he believes that he is not going to receive any justice? Or do you believe he should have allowed the justice system to take its course? Now, we've seen the justice system fail individuals from time to time, and so maybe he fell in a case where his son is gone, a part of him is gone, so it doesn't even make sense him even try to do that. A life for a life, an eye for an eye. Will an eye for an eye make everybody blind? Or my supporters don't believe in that? Let me know how you would handle this. Now, we're seeing evil cases locally in Jamaica, where we hear of the security forces taking out individuals, family members saying that it was not justifiable. We hear Jamaicans for Justice come out all the time. And so, supporters, do you think that these family members are in their right to really take things in their own hands, a cop for mine? Or do you feel like set them for wait upon God and time or the justice system? How would you have acted? The father, you're right. We're going to tune in now to Boss Live, and we're going to hear what these people have to say. It's Island Gal from town. People may notice when I know baga on not really support the live and not really share it. Yes, but may I ask you to know, show some support. Respect to all the people who always pass through. Show love and support. Keep the channel active. Work hard. Stay humble.
Who hit the deputy, the father of the person who was shot yesterday?
Yes.
Hinton's father, 38-year-old Rodney Hinton, is charged with aggravated...
Never been in trouble, never had a charge. Up until this young man was 18, never been in trouble, never had a charge.
He had a good job at UPS, everything. He's been there for years.
What is it?
He been at UPS. He been there for years. He had
so when we're talking about in the four walls of our household and bringing up our children, man, when these kids get out here in society and they're going into their own adulthood, and there's no telling what a choice of a decision that they're going to make. They're still finding their way. How many bad decisions we made when we were young, and our parents might have been preachers, pastors, and right about it. You feel me? In our butt about it. So it's also factors to that, man, and big ups to him as a father, because he did bring his son up the right way and in the right light, and his son just made a bad decision, which was a low-profile crime. Stealing a car, you guys.
It was a repossession. It wasn't a car theft. It was a repossession of that vehicle.
I'm doing that.
You know how you say, well, like the message though? I think the message is, you know, we not just sitting ducks, you know what I'm saying? Like the police, they have a lot of tactics and a lot of things, like, you know, they use intimidation as well. Like somebody's going to be intimidated by them all day. Even when I got my car,
Nikki got a lot going on in her car.
You said who?
I said we can hear. All right. Compared to how many of us have unalived one another. So the thing about it is, we have to be taught how to deal with these officers. We know they have the upper hand. I teach my students, and I don't have a son, but I have a daughter. I teach all of them certain methods so that they stay alive and they have the upper hand at the end of the situation. We have an internal problem of internal hatred amongst each other. So we got to work on not unaliving ourselves. That's the bigger percentage. Then we can get to the officers. Now, how you make officers suffer, first of all, you must punish the officer that did the crime. Right now, the officer that unalived this man's son, he's somewhere living. He's somewhere eating bonbons and watching TV right now. Somebody's son was unalived. The officer that was the random cop that was unalived by Hinton. Like I said earlier, you agree with it unless it was your brother. Unless that officer that was standing there was your son. So we cannot promote the message that, hey, when I get mad, when something happened to my child, let me just go out and unalive the first person. Now we just doing everything in a domino effect, but actually no real result is happening. Because if it was a real result happening, then we would see less of these police doing what they doing. You think this the first man that did that? Y'all better Google another how to deal with these officers. You can press charges after the scene is gone. But when you are there, you need to obey these officers, because I'd rather have you alive than you trying to prove a point. I'd rather have you alive than somebody who love you, their life is ruined, your life is ruined, and then officers still out here big kicking it and doing what they want to do. So we got to think smarter and wiser and not just off of emotions. With that, I'll land.
Brown against your family. To me, that made no sense. It was just nonsensical. So I don't have a slave mentality, nor does anyone else. We're thinking differently. That's what the panel is about. Different views and different ways of thinking. Not to slew, insult, or degrade people. And I'll land there.
Yeah, I'm not going to go at that point and say it like that, because, like, let's be honest.
And just was complying. We done seen it in our face. People complying. The young man who was unalived in front of his daughter. The daughter was sitting in the back seat. He pulled over, was compliant. Told him that he had
Now, my supporters, one caller said that if you comply, listen to the police, then you'll be fine. But we see even if you have your arms up, you might not be fine. Tune in.
For individuals to take justice into their own hands and respond to perceive the police in misconduct, or is this always the wrong, regardless if the circumstances? But hopefully I read that right. I've been working for 10 hours. I'm at work.
No, you're good. I'll read it for you, baby girl. Is it ever justifiable for individuals to take justice into their own hands in response to a perceived police misconduct, or is this always wrong regardless of the circumstance? Before I let you answer, the reason, y'all, I put this prompt like this of response to perceived police misconduct is because before the father unalived that innocent police officer, he had just saw the videos that they presented to him indicating that his son had a pew-pew and they acted in self-defense. So his response was that was police misconduct. He did not see a pew-pew in his son's hands. And I would assume that he also knew a lot about his son, which is why he made the judgment call that he made. So that's why this prompt reads like such. All right, Nikki, go ahead, 3 minutes.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 4 just because I got something to do. So y'all don't be mad.
Okay. Said it was his brother. All them officers stood up at once. I don't know if anybody noticed that. Another thing is,
I noticed it. Thank you for pointing that out.
Another thing is, me being a single mother of an African American king, and someone takes my son's life, I don't know how I would react. But I don't know how I'll react. That's the only thing I can say, because in that situation, you're not there because something has been taken from you. That's part of you. You have seen your child grow, their milestones, everything. Their first word, their first step, everything. So I can just imagine how this man was feeling. No, I do not. But in this situation, someone harmed my son, and I don't know what I would do. That's all I can say. I might be on the next news. You know what I'm saying? So all them emotions start to kick in. How would you feel? You don't know what situation. You don't know. That's all I can say. You don't know until it actually happens.
And you know, since this is like such a phenomenon, because when do we know black people actively go out searching for officers anyway?
And I've been in panels all night for the last 2 days talking about his mental state. And a lot of people are back in the blue saying, well, what about every region, every city has its own structure when it comes to police force. So somebody down in Texas have a different view on somebody up, in the Midwest. Mr. Rodney's family and a deputy. It just happened to be that whole circumstance was just pretty much wrong person, wrong time. That's the whole circumstance.
It's like, hey, if you ain't ready to unalive, if you ain't ready, don't have no kids. Because at the end of the day, man, this is a big responsibility, man, and we gotta live with this for the rest of our life. You know, I got a cousin she's an officer. You know what I'm saying? And she told me how she feel, but she also told me she understand how that man feel. You know what I'm saying? Because we done been oppressed for so long, and it's like, when do people understand? Like, look, we want y'all to feel it. Like, it didn't even happen to the guy that did it to the young man. You know what I'm saying? That actually pew his son, but he's sending a message to all. They understand that. Like, this is like, think about it. Think about what y'all do before y'all do this. Before y'all just want to unalive someone. I mean, the boy had his back turned. How many times have we heard this? This is not the first time we done heard this before. I could go back to Timothy Thomas when we had the Cincinnati riots. When the little boy from Chicago, his mom moved from Chicago, tried to get away from the craziness, and then she moved to Cincinnati. The boy was running from the police because the police was running, and he seen somebody, and he turned around, and he said, hey, stop. The boy tried to jump the fence and pumed in the back. This man didn't do no time for that. Breathe. You know, and this is the problem, man. It's the problem, man. Because we getting tired of it, man.
We do know. What's his nationality?
He's Caucasian. He's a YT, man.
Okay, cool. What's his name? We know his name?
I don't know the YT man name.
We don't know his name? Okay, cool. But why are we still, even if he is a YT guy, why do we assume that this is all race? Why can't this just be, and I'm asking a question here, why can't this just be police brutality?
That too.
Why can't this just be excessive force? Why does this have to be connected to race?
I don't think it's
because
about,
as we talked about the statistics earlier, we see that the crime of BOK against BOK is heightened over the crime against police against BOK. We see that. So when we look at that, then what do we channel and charge our BOK crime against BOK crime acts? If this is a racial thing, then what is our thing?
Yeah.
And which fight is bigger and more important to fight?
Yeah. Most of our of this man, of any one of these officers, back turned, trying to get and flee the scene. What? The statement was, it's about to be summertime. We got to send a message to these kids. So what they didn't expect is where the father took actions into his own hands and made his own statement. I'm not even for violence.